bolsters on the left side for now. If you have a blanket under your body, you can also slide it over to the right, maybe fold it up a little bit smaller there. We'll do a long hold in a supine twist now, but first let's release our spine. So you can reach up with interlaced hands. Just bring one shin towards your chest, taking a moment to roll that hip a little bit from side to side. Good job. And then switching sides when you're ready, so that foot will plant down. You can bring the other shin in and roll out your hip a little bit there. And then eventually you can hug both of your knees in towards your chest, almost like you're making a little ball. You're welcome to lift your forehead up a bit and maybe even trying to give yourself a big hug here. Forehead towards your knees, and you could rock your whole body from side to side, or you're also welcome to just keep your head and shoulders down on the ground too as you rock. And you can stay here. This is called Aphanasana. It's a wonderful posture. I think it's one of the most important postures of yoga. You're welcome to stay in it, or if you want to take a bit of a hip stretch, then maybe you reach toward happy baby. So that's where the soles of the feet face toward the ceiling. You can reach up and maybe clasp the outsides of your calves or your feet. And Deb, you're fine as you are, but if you ever feel like moving your mat around to see me better, feel free. Okay. You have the whole place to yourself, so you can move it anywhere you like.
Okay.
If you're clasping in happy baby, you could try rocking your body a bit from side to side, or you could just explore stillness there. And also an option if you want to explore it. And again, these are just options, so you don't have to do everything I say. You can also just listen to your own body and do what you feel. If you want to try maybe straightening one leg and bending the other one for a few breaths. And then switching sides. And then eventually when you're ready, we're going to come into a long hold in a supine twist. So for this one, you can stack your knees right over your hips, stacking them about 90 degrees. Options to keep your knees like that, or you could try wrapping the right leg around, maybe even all the way around if you want to try like eagle legs. Your arms can come out to a T, and then as we exhale, we'll lower the knees down to the left so they might fall onto your bolster. Okay. Then you can take your blanket, reach your right hand, grab your blanket, and slide it under your back so it's supporting your back. You're kind of going to shimmy it under there so you feel really supported in your low back. And then from here, you have the option, if you'd like, you can remove the bolster. If you want to take a deeper twist, you can always change it up to maybe put a blanket there instead. And then arms can come out to a T, palms up. Now, keeping in mind, the more you straighten your legs here, the more gentle this twist becomes. So if you're feeling your back is hurting or anything like that, try pushing your feet out a little bit, just starting to increase the angle of your legs there. If you want a deeper twist, then you'll squeeze your knees up further towards your face, and you can even put one hand on the top knee if you like. You can always change your mind and go back to something else. And maybe turning your gaze away from your knees. We'll take a couple minutes here in this twist. Just receiving the posture, letting our spines unwind. This is also really good for our digestive system. Some of us might even feel it like on the outside of your top hip or your IT band over there. Just noticing where you feel the stretch. Breathing into it and then letting your mind be soft. So if you start to notice you're thinking about other stuff that's not relevant in this present moment, bring your mind back to your breath. Maybe repeating that intention or the mantra you've chosen for today. Sometimes it's helpful to link it with the breath. Inhale, peace. Exhale, peace. Or whatever you're focusing on. Last exhale when you're ready. And then you can use the inhale. Push down through your hands or your arms. Lift your knees up. You can plant your feet. Come back to center so your hips and your shoulders are realigned here. And then if you liked using the props, then go ahead and switch them. So we would bring the blanket to the left side of your body, the bolster to the right if you're using them. Maybe your knees come to stack over your hips. They could be bent at 90, or you could wrap your left leg around the right if you want to try eagle legs. And with an exhale, both knees will come to the right. They might fall on the bolster, or they could come to the ground, or any other prop that feels helpful. And then you could reach back and slide that blanket under your back to provide a little extra support. Again, feeling free to move the bolster out of the way if it doesn't feel helpful. And then knowing that you can always push your feet a little bit away from your upper body to make it more gentle of a twist. Or you can bend your knees up towards your face to make it a deeper twist. Option to turn your face away from your knees. And as we exhale, sort of give yourself to this posture. Let gravity take over here. Let your bones become heavy and your joints become open. Maybe you explore the belly breathing once more. About a minute left here. Kind of just noticing your face, maybe relaxing a little bit through your jaw. You can let your tongue rest on your upper teeth and breathe through your nose. Relax your forehead and your eyes. Three more breaths on your own. And last exhale when you're ready. And then bringing your arms down, push into your arms, bring your knees back up over your ankles, feet are on the ground. Take a few moments here to release your spine. You could tick-tock your knees from side to side, or you could hug them into your chest here. It's up to you. Maybe rocking a bit from side to side again. You can walk your feet in close to your glutes, and you can reach down with your arms and kind of graze the backs of your heels here. And then as you lay down with your body, it feels like you are broadening your collarbones. So you want to feel kind of like your sides of your collarbones are pointing to the ground. Feet are parallel, toes are relaxed. Push into your feet and inhale, lift your hips up. So for a moment, maybe you reach under your body and interlace your hands. Squeeze your shoulder blades together as much as you can to get a deep back bend. And then we're going to take reach for your block and slide it under your sacrum. It can be at any of the levels, low, medium, or high. When you lower your sacrum down, you want to feel really supported by the block, so it doesn't feel wobbly. Oh, and Deb, you got the one that got stickered by my kids. That was pretty cute. We have a block that's been stickered by toddlers. So. So from there, you have a little bit of freedom in this back bend now. You can literally place your arms wherever they feel comfortable. Maybe you just kind of rest them alongside your body. You could even let your palms roll open as long as your hips feel stable. Then you can also walk your feet out a little bit if you want. You could walk your feet out wide. You could try letting your knees fall together, see how that might feel. Just find your expression in this back bend, something that feels a bit comfortable and helpful for you. And then let's start to breathe more deeply. This time, maybe as you inhale, your belly expands and then your rib cage. And then take the breath all the way up into your chest and shoulders. And as you exhale, release the air back out. Chest, shoulders, ribs, and belly. Really let your belly button fall down toward the ground as you exhale every time. We can just take about 5 to 7 more breaths here. One or two more breaths. And then in your own way, walk your feet back in so that they feel like they're right under your knees. Push down through your hands on the ground. Lift your hips, slide the block out, and bring it straight up. This part takes a little extra listening. Straight up from your chest toward the sky. Hands are on the sides of your block. Your hips are still lifted. Yep, so you're holding the block in between your hands. You got it. Inhale, lift your heels. Good job. And then exhale, lower down slowly, slowly, one vertebra at a time. At the same time that you're lowering your spine down, you're also lowering the block up above your head to the ground. But keep your hands on the block when it touches the ground. Push your heels into the mat. And then energetically push the block away from your head, stretching through your arms, rolling your underarms open toward the ceiling as you push into your feet. Take a breath here. Great job. Now release your hands from the block. Roll onto one side of your body. It's up to you which direction you want to go. Just rest your head there on your bicep. Take a few breaths. And then you can push into your top hand and lifting upwards. And we're going to come briefly through table again, and we'll find child's pose. You can definitely use some props for child's pose if you want. So having those handy if you'd like. Again, you're more than welcome to place a blanket under your knees if that is helpful. And then in this child's pose, you can have your big toes together. You could either have your knees together or you can V them out as wide as you'd like, really. Sinking your hips back and down. If you want to use a bolster, it could go under your torso like this. Or it could go under your hips like this. Or you could just not use a bolster. It's up to you. Extending your arms forward. Maybe your forehead comes to the mat. Or maybe you feel more comfortable stacking up your hands and resting your forehead there. We'll be here in child's pose for a couple minutes, so making sure you shift and move until you feel very comfortable, very stable. You can always change your mind and readjust your props or your body at any point. Noticing where you might feel the stretch here. Maybe it's your shoulders, maybe it's your back or your hips. Just noticing that in your body. Give you a few moments to settle into child's pose. Maybe I'll play the singing bowl and you can focus now maybe on bringing your breath now into your back body. So in the same way that we were previously exploring belly breathing, can you try to expand your low back as you inhale and let it fall as you exhale. As we access the inner guru time and time again, we begin to become identified with that. This occurs slowly with regular practice. Eventually, the drunken monkey mind begins to like the stillness, and it automatically relaxes, getting out of the way. So as you explore this posture for a few breaths longer, stay connected with your breath, with that word or phrase, or maybe just the word peace, something that helps your mind to stay calm and anchor. That's what the word mantra means. Actually, it's a Sanskrit word, and the first part, manas, means the mind, and tra means to tie up or to occupy. So we use a mantra to occupy the mind. Let's do about 3 more breaths here. And after those 3 breaths, you can start to rise up. Coming up to kneeling here. And before we come out of this posture, we stretched our hands. So now we're going to try stretching the soles of our feet, which can be really helpful. So for this one, I'm going to turn to the side so that hopefully you can see. You bring your legs together, and you can actually place like a block in between your legs if it's easier for you to sit down onto a block, or even a bolster could be used. So if kneeling and sitting back is a little challenging, then put something there that you can sit back onto. And then from there, we're gonna curl all of our toes under. So this part can be actually trickier than you would think. And I usually have to reach back and actually pull my toes under. Make sure none of those little toesies are sneaking out, those pinky toes. Try to get them under if you can. And then at first we can lift up our hips. Even if you have some props there, you can still lift your hips up. Yeah, good. You can always change how your props are positioned later. So from here, with those toes curled under, bring your hands to your hips. And on an exhale, start to just sink your hips back towards your heels. So you'll feel the arches of your feet stretching the more you rest your hips down. If this becomes too intense, bring your hands to the ground to take some of the weight out of your torso. If you like a deeper experience, then you can remove the props you might be using and just sit back onto your heels. It can get pretty deep. These arches of our feet can be pretty tight. Lots of reasons for that, but let's see if we can even maybe close our eyes and just take 3 very long, slow breaths. If you prefer to have your eyes open, just look at one thing with a soft gaze. You're doing awesome. You might feel like your toes are stretching. Feel free to stay longer if you want. If you feel like you're done, we're going to bring our hands down, tops of feet come down, and we just paddle the feet out. Nice job. All right. So now, I think we're going to move toward the wall. So we usually use the wall for the last part of this class, so your mat's actually perfectly positioned like that. I usually just bring a blanket along with me to sit on. If you want to have one, feel free. And other than that, I don't think we really need many props for this next part of our practice. We're just going to sit so that we're leaning against the wall at first with our back against the wall. You can bring your whole mat over if you want to. You don't have to, though. And we will place our legs in the same kind of placement we did on our back earlier. So we're going to do butterfly legs here. And actually, I guess maybe we might want to have blocks under the knees here as well. So if you feel like you need a little bit of support, you can put blocks under your thighs on both sides. As well, if you ever feel like your legs are like sliding away, you can always add a strap here. So let me know if you want me to show you how that works. Be happy to. And then once we feel like we've got our legs positioned pretty well, this butterfly shape, then we'll kind of lean back against the wall for a moment. Does that feel okay, or do you feel like your feet are kind of sliding away, Deb?
Well, my feet were hurting on the side, so
okay.
that towel.
That's a great prop. You could even use like your hoodie if you need more support there. That's great. Yeah, the ground can be hard on these feet. I'm not used to putting them in this placement. So from here, with our hands on our knees, you can just lean back with your shoulders and then let your chin drop down towards your chest. And you can let your head hang heavy as we stretch into our neck. If you'd like to add some traction, bring your hands up and just rest them on the back of your head, elbows hanging toward the ground. Taking a few breaths there. And then maybe releasing your hands and just doing a little bit of neck rolling. So you can bring one ear over to one shoulder for a breath. And then bring your chin back down to center before going the other way. So we're just making like half circles with the chin or the head. Eventually let your head hang heavy towards center and then lifting up through your head on an inhale. Now, if your legs don't feel particularly stable or comfortable, I might offer that perhaps you take a bolster and place it under your knees before we fold forward. So you're welcome to kind of watch first and then decide, but the bolster might be a helpful way to prop your knees if you need to. We're just going to lengthen through our spines and we'll fold forward. So we can use our hands on the feet as we fold. I'm going to hold this forward bend for about a minute and a half. You can shift from hip to hip and then ground equally through both of your hips. If you're clasping your feet, you kind of want to feel like you're pushing your toenails apart from each other, like you're activating through your toes, and it almost feels like you're kind of opening your feet, like you might open up a book with your hands, and that'll help protect our knees. Sometimes it's nice to do a little foot self-massage on your feet. Feel free if you feel any pressure points that are calling to you. And then you could take a moment to lengthen your spine with your next inhale, straightening your back. And as you exhale, folding a little deeper. And then you can choose to keep your back kind of flat and straight, or you can round your back and let your head and neck hang heavy. And it's okay if your legs kind of open up a bit here. If your heels slide out, that's okay. Inhale, start to come up to seated once more. Bring your knees together and swing them over to one side so that one of your hips is now touching the wall. We're going to do legs up the wall, which is an inversion. So once your hip is connected to the wall, then you're going to lay down and kick your legs up there, making like an L shape with your body. The getting into it is the tricky part. Yeah, and you can kind of shimmy your body toward the wall, trying to get your hips as close as you can. They don't have to touch the wall, that's okay. When you first arrive, taking some time with your legs together, you can flex and point your feet. You could roll out your ankles a little bit here. Just exploring your feet here. And then bring your legs to just relax there at midline. And then taking your right knee, bend it out to the side and draw your ankle just above your opposite knee on your thigh for figure four. Good job. So figure four on the right side. You can stay here if you'd like, or if you want a deeper stretch, then you're going to point your toes, the top toes of the left leg to the wall. Bending that knee is going to give you a deeper stretch. Yeah, do you feel that difference? And you could stay right there. If you really are going for a super deep stretch, then sliding the heel down toward the ground is going to achieve that. Every inch you slide your heel down, the stretch deepens in your hip. Do you feel that? Mm-hmm. And then your hands can come anywhere. So if it feels helpful for you to kind of use your hands to stabilize your legs, do that. If you'd rather just kind of relax your arms out, open to the sides, do that. We'll do 10 to 15 breaths per side. It's about a minute, giving our hips some time to stretch and open, and also receiving an inversion in our bodies. It's so good for literally every system of your body is benefited by an inversion like this. helps the blood pressure, which helps our lung health, our nervous system gets balanced here. Even our lymphatic system can experience some draining and cleansing. The digestive system often improves when we invert our body in this way. And the cool thing is you don't have to do anything. You just get to lay here and breathe and be. Let's do 3 more breaths here. When you're ready to come out, we'll extend both legs once more. Feel free to roll your ankles or flex your feet, and then switching sides when you're ready. So the other foot ankle crosses over the right thigh. You can stay there, or you can try bending your right knee and pointing your toes into the wall. And every inch that you slide your heel down, the stretch can deepen in your hip. So it's up to you. Just find your level of stretch that you'd like to experience. And settling into it, feeling free to place your hands wherever it makes sense for you. Relax through your jaw, cheeks, and eyes, and forehead. And maybe noticing if there's anywhere else in your body that you might be holding some tension. Relax. Three more breaths. And then when you're ready, releasing your legs. Bringing your legs straight up and just relaxing them at the midline. Take a moment to bring your right hand up to your face, placing your pointer and middle finger at your third eye, the space between your eyebrows, and take a few moments to massage that point a few times, one direction and then the other. This is our perception center, the Ajna chakra. It's associated with the pineal gland, which has many responsibilities, one of which is regulating melatonin. Take a cleansing breath, and then keeping your fingertips here at this point, inhale to about 3/4 lung capacity and pause there, holding your breath. And while holding your breath, just connect with your third eye and feel the prana, the energy you're holding in your lungs. Almost like a cleansing experience as you're ready to exhale, releasing out any blockage, any tensions. Your hand can then come down to the ground to rest anywhere. And we move now into final meditation. And you're welcome to stay in legs up the wall if you would like for Shavasana. Or if you would rather come out of it and take a more traditional Shavasana, that is fine too. So either staying where you are or rolling onto one side of your body and laying there for a few moments. So a traditional Shavasana is just laying on your back. So if you'd rather do your final meditation laying on your back, then feel free. And sometimes it's nice to put a bolster under your knees, or you could cover your whole body up with a blanket. Scarlett, I know you really liked Mountain Brook the other day. You can try it again if you'd like. That's where we put a blanket. I want to use some more props then. You might perhaps place a small skinny bolster under your spine. A blanket could come under your head. And then sometimes you put a big bolster under the knees. It's up to you. It just kind of depends how you feel comfortable. Our meditation is about 7-8 minutes long. You can also cover up your whole body with a blanket if you'd like. Your arms can come to any placement. Traditionally, we bring the arms alongside the body with the palms up, but that's really up to you. And closing your eyes if you're comfortable and feeling kind of like a wave of relaxation roll through your body, noticing each part of your body, starting with the toes, feeling your feet, ankles, calves, shins and knees relaxing. Your next exhale, relaxing your lower legs and feet. Inhaling, feeling your thighs, hips, pelvis, relaxing. And exhaling, your whole lower body is relaxed. Inhaling, relaxing your abdomen, spine, internal organs, rib cage, chest and shoulders. And exhaling, feeling your whole torso, your whole midsection relax. Inhaling to feel your hands, wrists, forearms, elbows, upper arms, and exhale, relax your arms and your hands. Inhaling, relaxing your neck, jaw, cheeks, forehead, eyes, whole head. Exhale, your head and neck and your whole body is relaxed. Enjoying these few minutes now as just a time to be peaceful, to be free in this moment, to be exactly as you are. Nowhere to go and nothing to do, here to simply be. You could even fall asleep if you need a little nap. I'll play the singing bowls and I'll pause from talking for a few minutes. And then I'll let you know when it's time to come out and close our class. One of the simplest ways to bring the teachings of yoga and meditation into our lives is to practice that every present moment is, in fact, a full and perfect new beginning. So as you awaken from your meditation, let every breath you take be full, perfect, and peaceful. When you're ready to start moving your fingers and toes or rolling your head a little bit, let that movement be rooted in peace, contentment. And then eventually you can allow yourself to roll onto one side of your body and resting there with your head on your bicep in the fetal posture for a few breaths. Before pushing yourself up to seated in your own way. You could lean against the wall, you could sit up on a blanket if you'd like. We'll only be here short for a brief time as we close our class. So sitting up nice and tall, lift up through your sternum, maybe take a full breath in. And as you exhale, visualize yourself being filled with peaceful prana energy. Inhaling again with me. And on the exhale, our hands could come to meet at heart center, or we could rest our palms on our chest, feeling your heartbeat. Taking a moment to thank yourself for coming to your mat this afternoon. Doing something so good for your body, mind, and spirit. I also thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste. Namaste.